What if Revan helped Anakin to heal Padme? The duel on Mustafar had ended in fire and screams. Anakin Skywalker lay broken, his body torn apart by flame and hatred, his breath a ragged echo of what he once was. Obi-Wan had left him for dead, and Padmé Amidala, heartbroken and fading, had been carried away by loyal servants, her spirit shattered by betrayal and sorrow. The galaxy had shifted in that moment. The Republic was no more. The Empire had risen, and hope seemed extinguished. But history is fragile, a thread that can bend and twist with the smallest change. In this story, the thread is touched by one who should have remained long forgotten. Darth Revan. Centuries earlier, Revan had walked both light and dark, savior and conqueror, betrayer and redeemed. His name was a myth, his fate a mystery. Yet in the eternal flow of the Force, some spirits do not vanish. They linger, bound by power and purpose. Revan's essence, fractured between light and shadow, drifted in the currents of the Force, watching, waiting. When Anakin Skywalker fell, when the Chosen One's destiny burned away on the shores of Mustafar, Revan stirred. He saw the boy's rage, his loss, his desperate love. He saw Padme, broken but alive, her life slipping through her fingers. And in Anakin's despair, Revan saw himself. The same choices, the same mistakes, the same hunger to save what could not be saved. This was the moment, he knew. If the galaxy was to be reshaped, it would be here. As Sidious arrived on Mustafar to retrieve his apprentice, the darkness thickened. The Emperor's laughter echoed as he raised Anakin's ruined body. Yet in the void of Anakin's fading mind, another voice whispered, "Skywalker." The word cut through agony like a blade. Anakin, delirious, saw a figure within the haze, a mask of iron, half shadow, half light. "Who?" his thoughts rasped. "You are me," the voice said, "or I am you. I am Revan. I know what it is to lose. I know what it is to love so much that you burn the galaxy for it, and I know how to save her." Anakin's eyes widened in the darkness. Padme! Even as Sidious bound him to machines, even as the mask sealed over his face, the promise took root. There was a way, there was hope. And for the first time, Vader did not belong fully to Sidious. Revan's teachings came in fragments, visions and dreams, whispers in the corridors of Vader's mind. They were dangerous, forbidden, older than the Republic. It was not the unnatural power Sidious offered, where life was stolen and twisted, but something else. A balance of will, energy, and sacrifice. To heal Padme, Revan warned, would demand more than raw strength. It would demand that Vader confront his own fractures. The dark side alone could not save her. Hatred could destroy, but only love could mend. It was the truth Revan had learned too late, and he would not let Skywalker repeat it. Vader listened. The mask, the armor, the agony of his existence, all of it was endured for one purpose: Padme. He sought her out in secret, finding her hidden away by loyalists who had smuggled her from Police Massa. She lived, weak and pale, her children already born. Luke and Leia slept beside her. She should have been dead, but something, perhaps the Force itself, kept her alive long enough to see him again. When she saw the black figure enter her chamber, she recoiled, fear in her eyes. But when he removed the mask, revealing the scarred ruin of Anakin Skywalker, her tears fell not in terror but in grief. "You're alive," she whispered, "because of you," he rasped, "and you will live, Padme. I will not let you go." Through Revan's guidance, Vader began the ritual, not a spell, not sorcery, but a binding of life energies. He poured himself into her, not through hate, but through the remnants of the love that had never died. His agony became her strength, his fire became her warmth. Where her spirit had cracked, his will held it together. For hours, he fought not enemies, but himself. The dark side urged him to dominate, to control, to enslave her essence. But Revan's voice cut through. If you bind her in chains, she will die. Only if you give without taking will she survive. And so, for the first time since Mustafar, Anakin Skywalker chose to give. When dawn came, Padme awoke, her breath steady, her skin flush with life. The death that had clung to her was gone. She lived. Against every law of the galaxy, she lived. Anakin collapsed beside her, weaker than ever, his body nearly broken from the strain. But Padme held him, not the Jedi Knight she remembered, not the monster she feared, but the husband she had loved. Tears fell on his ruined face. For a moment there was peace. Sidious knew nothing at first. He saw only that his apprentice grew stronger, his hatred sharpened. He believed the bond between master and servant unbroken. But slowly, subtly, things changed. Vader no longer served with blind obedience. He questioned. He delayed, and most of all, he kept secrets. The existence of Padme, alive and hidden, was the greatest of them all, and with her, the twins. Luke and Leia grew not as orphans, but under their mother's care, their father watching in shadows. Anakin dared not reveal them fully, but he ensured their safety with the help of those few who remained loyal to him. Revan's influence grew. He was no phantom of light, no simple ghost. He was a teacher, guiding Anakin down a path between shadow and flame. The armor remained, the scars did not fade, but within the shell of Darth Vader, something else stirred. Anakin Skywalker, piece by piece, clawed his way back. He did not reject the dark side entirely. He could not. It was part of him now, fused into his very soul, but neither did he surrender wholly to it. Instead, he began to wield both, as Revan once had. Not Sith, not Jedi, something different, something more. Years passed. The Empire spread its grip across the stars, but within its heart, rebellion brewed earlier, fiercer, for Padmé Amidala, once thought dead, had not remained silent. In secret, she wove threads of resistance, uniting senators, feeding hope into a galaxy suffocated by tyranny. Her very survival became legend, a symbol of light unextinguished. Vader, caught between worlds, played a dangerous game. To Sidious, he was enforcer, destroyer, executioner. To Padme, he was protector, conspirator, husband. And to their children, he was both. Luke and Leia grew strong in the Force, trained not by Jedi or Sith, but by their father, who passed on the lessons Revan whispered through him. The galaxy shifted, the rebellion grew faster, bolder, Sidious grew wary, and when at last he learned the truth, that Padme lived, that she was the spark of rebellion, that Vader himself had concealed it, his fury was boundless. "You betrayed me," Sidious hissed, lightning crackling from his hands. "I betrayed nothing," Vader answered, igniting his crimson blade. "I chose life. I chose love." And at his side, not hiding but standing tall, was Padmé Amidala, and behind them, Luke and Leia, blades of blue and green gleaming. The final battle was not father against son, not master against apprentice, but emperor against a family bound by the Force, strengthened by love, and guided by the shadow of a long-dead warrior named Revan. Sidious unleashed the storm, but this time it was not enough. Together they struck him down, his screams swallowed by the abyss. The galaxy remembered, not the Emperor's rise, but his fall. Not the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker, but his redemption before it was too late. Padme became the voice of a new republic. Luke and Leia became guardians of peace, trained not in the narrow dogmas of Jedi or Sith, but in a path balanced by both. And Vader, no longer enslaved to mask or title, walked beside them, scarred but whole. Revan's spirit faded at last, his purpose fulfilled. In Anakin, Padme, and their children, he saw the balance he had sought but never achieved. His legacy was not empire, not conquest, but a family that healed the wound of the Force itself. And the galaxy, scarred by war yet alive with hope, turned its gaze to the stars once more.